The DJI Mavic 2 series is even more popular than when it was introduced in August of 2018. Let's take a look at some of the reasons why. Coming up. Hi everyone, Bill from BillTheDroneReviewer, where I make drone and drone related videos. If you're new here, welcome, and consider hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss any future content. With that, let's begin. The other night on Rotor Talk Live, Marcus Crawford, Ron Braun, Lauren Donauer, and I took a deep dive as to why the Mavic 2 series is even more popular than when it was introduced in August of 2018. Let's roll that clip in its entirety. What we're going to do is, in this segment that I wanted to talk about today, was a resurgence for the Mavic 2. And the whole thing, I'm basing this on, we don't get sales information from DJI. Okay, it's known but to Frank Wang and his board of directors. All right, we have no clue. But
maybe you can get Frank on the show sometime and ask him.
I would love to get Frank on the show sometime and ask him. I'm afraid to get Romeo on because I may ask him and he might tell me, and that would not be good for him. We don't want any of that.
We'll make sure Frank's not watching that night.
Yes, absolutely. But one of the things that I've seen lately, and it's really incredible. Ever since the beginning of the year, like about January 1st or so, on any given day, I'm getting anywhere from 50 to probably over 100 people joining my Mavic 2 group every day. Okay. Now, the only reason that I'm saying this is kind of a resurgence is not only that is I'm getting a lot of emails about people. I get a lot of emails every day and a lot of messages on my Facebook groups, but the overwhelming number of messages, it's all been, geared around the Mavic 2 and a lot of questions about buying the Mavic 2 and buying should I get a smart controller with that kind of thing? It's been like a flood lately. I mean, it's just been through the roof. And that group's almost it was like 4,000 like late last year. It's pushing almost 6,000 right now. With apparently no replacement for it in sight. People are deciding, what? I'm going to go with something that's tried and true and, be very pleased, and they're very pleased with the results. I wanted to open this up to you guys. And what are your guys' thoughts on this?
Well, what I'll say is I don't think you said resurgence. I don't think the Mavic 2 was ever unpopular. And I'll bet Lauren could probably tell us more about that. But I think that thing has been the number one consumer drone for a while. And every time I fly it, I go, wow, why am I not flying this thing every day? So, that's kind of my 2 bits on it. I think it just remains a top seller because it's just so darn good.
And great comment, Marcus. Before I make my comment, I want to shout out my buddy Ray Kelly's in the chat tonight. Ray's down there in Palm Beach, Florida. He does a lot of great little flights with the Mavic Mini, catches some real nice views of down there of the ships and marinas and little Peanut Island down there. So thanks for joining us tonight, Ray. But to answer Bill's question, Bill's one that convinced me that I needed the Mavic 2 Pro with the smart controller, and that was the best thing I've ever did. I love the drone, best drone I've ever owned, and it's such a good drone. I don't even feel the need to upgrade it, whatever. Like I know we got the Autel Evo 2, and it's got some great specs, and we were hoping for a Mavic 3 that's not coming this year. But I mean, I'm perfectly satisfied with flying my Mavic 2 Pro. When I go out there, it's nothing I'm lacking. It's nothing. I don't get out there and say, well, I wish it did this or that or the other. And I know people want the 4K 60, and I understand that. But very rarely do I get out there thinking, oh man, if only I had a 4K 60, I could have got this great footage. I'm getting great footage without 4K 60. So I am very happy with the drone, and I don't even care if the Mavic 3 doesn't hit for another year. Lauren, what do you think?
Yep, and that's, if you remember what I was saying earlier, that the sales have not really dropped enough for the Mavic 2 Pro to even for them to consider releasing the Mavic 3. Will we see it this year? Maybe, but quite frankly, until the sales numbers drop, it's not really going to happen. I can see it happening in 2021, almost definitely. But as I said, what more can we add to the Mavic 2 Pro that isn't already there? Yeah, 4K 60, absolutely, that would be a nice thing. Is it a deal killer to not have it?
Nope.
Not for most people.
Nope.
No, it isn't. And that's a good point, Lauren, because, and I just did a video on, what 4K 60 looks like. And I have some apologies in order. When I uploaded it, okay, and I used DaVinci Resolve, I got it and I learned my lesson with Resolve because I'm new to Resolve. After I took the raw feed off the SD card and I put it in there, what I found out was I had to change the frame rate in the video settings to 60 frames per second. Otherwise, it would take what the default was, and the default was 30 frames per second. So the video I put out is at 30 frames per second, but I'm going to redo it. I'm just going to be putting out just a raw video in the next couple of days at 4K 60 frames per second, so people can see what that's like. But the whole other thing, that also is the question of this. All right, most people shoot, and I know Lauren brought up a good point about the 4K 60. But you know what? And for most of us, when we're looking at YouTube videos, where are we looking at them? 9 times out of 10, we're looking at them on our smartphone. All right. Or whether, you're looking at your Apple or your Android device, or on your tablet, on your iPad or your tablet. Okay. And what are you most often? It's in 1080p. All right. So, and for the most part, it works fantastic. When you start to have to process things in 4K 30 frames per second or 4K 60, it takes an incredible amount of time. My 10-minute stretch of video that I had, it took almost 25 minutes to render last night when I was doing, and this is just not even, any kind of ending or beginning, just the raw video itself. That's how long it took to process on there. So, there's a lot of things to take into consideration. With 1080p, it's a no-brainer. You just put it out there and enjoy it. And most of these great shots that I've got, like most of the sunsets that I've got with this and other good scenes, it's in 1080p. So, the need for this 4K 60 frames per second need, it's nice. And it really is nice when you can do it and when it's justified. But, for most people, 1080p is going to suffice. And I think that's one of the things for me, as far as the Mavic 2 Pro, that it does exceptionally well. And I know Ron and I talked about this when back in the old days for Ron, when he was still flying the Mavic Pro, when we were at the beach. And the sunset I was capturing, and then he had his Mavic Pro, and he said, "Take a look." And the difference was out. It was phenomenal looking at the difference between the two, because as Ron pointed out very well, the Mavic Pro is exceptional with the low light, with capturing those low light scenarios. The Mavic Pro, obviously, it wasn't there, and you could see that the difference was really obvious with that. So, there are so many things about the Mavic 2, the way it flies, the way it handles, for me personally, it's my favorite drone. It is so easy to maneuver. When we went out to the tower here over in Tampa, the old water tower, it just handling the orbiting of that, it was so easy to maneuver around there. And to fly and responsive. I can't say enough nice things about that. Really. Any other thoughts on the Mavic?
While you're brought that up and you brought your Phantom 4 up, did you see Russ over 51 Drones' latest video where DJI sent him a Phantom 4 Pro V2.0 out? And he never had flown a Phantom before. He's been a Mavic guy all along. And it was interesting to hear his opinions, because I started out with the Phantom and moved to the Mavic. And he really had some interesting thoughts coming from somebody that never flew a Phantom before. Did you see that, Bill?
Yes, I did see that. I really like Russ. I love his channel. and I was real captivated by that because I knew exactly what you're saying was he's been a Mavic guy all along, and then he gets this Phantom 4 Pro, and one of the things that I noticed he really kind of leaned on was the props and the shots, okay. And that's just a given with the Phantom 4 Pro, and there are so many ways around that, okay. And one of the things,
fly backwards, and then when you post it, reverse the video and post it, whatever.
Reverse the video and post it. It's the easiest way. Also, it's a matter of speed. It's not necessarily wind that I found out with the Phantom 4 Pro, because I've kind of clocked it, and it's about 16, 17 miles an hour is a safe zone. If you go over that, you're going to start getting props in the shots. Okay.
And actually, it's the windier it is, the slower you have to fly.
Exactly.
And a way to help that, if you put an ND filter on, a lot of the props in the shot are prop shadows. So putting an ND filter on will cut the shadows back a little bit so you can go a couple miles faster.
And also, if you tweak your gimbal setting just a little, if you nudge it down just a tad, not much, but just a tad, it'll make all the difference in the world with that. So, I could tell he was kind of new, didn't expect that because, I don't get this with the Mavic 2.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that I saw from him on that. So
actually the part
Paradenofi, you'll never see the props in your shot with a Paradenofi. There's
no matter how fast you go.
Yeah.
Actually, I found the funniest thing about that was his issues that he had with the cop.
That was cool.
Oh yeah, that was actually that was really funny.
He has a whole video in the cop part too.
Yeah, I see that one.
About drone regulations, knew absolutely nothing.
That was hilarious. You guys get a chance, check that out. Russ makes me, and I've told him this before. I said, you make me laugh, Russ. You have a great channel, but sometimes it's just some of your videos make me laugh in a good way.
Bill, can I make one comment on the Phantom 4? I get it starts with you, props and shots and so forth. There's one of the reasons that I sold mine. I thought, why do I would rather fly my Mavic 2 where it's not as big of an issue and I don't have to worry about it. And that's probably where Russ was coming from as well. I think there's newer drones on the market that's not such a big issue with, and you don't have to do anything extraordinary to avoid it. Just wanted to make that point.
Well, and there's one more thing that I want to close with, and thank you for that, Marcus, is, Russ did talk about the noise factor from the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0. And, he said about 800 feet, you could hear it away. And for me, it's about 500 or 600 feet, you can hear it, versus like the Mavic 2 Pro, it's probably more like 200 or 300 feet, so as far as the noise factor was concerned, he was saying, there's a difference there, and then there's the obvious difference of the physical size and the portability thing as far as that's concerned, and for me, it's never bothered me about the Phantom 4 Pro. I mean, that's one of the things that I always wanted to get a Phantom 4 Pro, because the first time I flew it was Mel's, and I absolutely loved flying it. Thought it was a joy to fly. And and I'm just enamored with it. A side note before we move on to our last topic of the evening is, I heard that you can get better, and I think Ken Heron said this, was you can get better performance out of the regular props on the Phantom 4 Pro. Okay. But if you try to go find regular props, DJI props, okay, good luck. It's almost impossible to find right now. They're not out on the store. They're not on Amazon. It's all aftermarket stuff, and with aftermarket stuff and props, not here. Okay, I'm not going to go there as far as that.
Does Master Ascrew make props for the Phantom?
I don't know that.
Their props are probably going to even be a better quality than DJI's.
Well, yeah, definitely. Question of the day: do you think the Mavic 2 series is more popular now than when it was introduced in August of 2018? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, it's a great day to fly.
Stumbling out of bed, and I still got you in my head. From all those pretty words you said, it's like I'm wasted. Every time I see your face, I'm losing track of time and space. I don't know where I am, it's like I'm wasted, and I won't waste it.